Have you ever driven an hour to a park only to realize you forgot your antenna? Or made it all the way to the summit and discovered your battery was still sitting on the charger at home? Maybe you've hiked a mile into the woods, set everything up perfectly, and then watched a thunderstorm roll in just as you called CQ. Portable operating is one of the most rewarding parts of amateur radio, but it's also one of the easiest ways to discover just how much can go wrong. The good news, most of those mistakes are completely avoidable. Today, we're talking about everything you should know before you leave the shack, from planning your activation, packing the right gear, to staying safe on the trail, avoiding common mistakes, and making every POTA SOTA activation a success. Whether you're activating your very first park or you've logged hundreds of portable contacts, stick around because chances are you'll pick up a tip that makes your next activation even better. This is the Ham Radio Guy podcast, episode number 78, and today we're talking portable operations. Hello and welcome to the Ham Radio Guy. This is the show where amateur radio comes alive, broadcasting from the W0MET studios. I'm Marvin, W0MET.
And I'm Andy, W8DMT.
And whether you're chasing parks on the air activations, building antennas in the backyard, upgrading your shack, or just getting started on your ham radio journey, you've found the right frequency. Each episode brings you the latest ham radio news, interviews, and with operators from around the world, gear reviews, operating tips, event coverage, and stories from amateur radio community. My goal is simple: to inform, entertain, inspire, and get you on the air. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. And for all of our returning listeners, a huge thank you for making this one of the fastest growing independent ham radio podcasts around. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to say wherever you subscribe, you listen to your podcast, whether that is Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or your favorite podcast app. Be sure to leave a review and share the show with your friends, club members, and fellow operators. Every subscription, comment, and every share helps make more people discover the hobby we all love. You can support the podcast through Patreon, affiliate links in the show notes, and by checking out our sponsors. Your show helps keep the microphones on and the antennas in the air and allows us to continue to bring you great content from across the amateur radio world. This year is especially exciting because we're celebrating 5 years of amateur radio. And we're just actually 3 days away from that, of the Ham Radio Guy podcast. So this is a great episode, and we're really looking forward to it. It's kind of one of our first episodes we began back 5 years ago, was talking about POTA. So, again, this is a fun little project started during COVID. And today we've got hundreds of listeners, thousands of contacts, and countless laughs, and a passion for amateur radio that continues to grow stronger every year and listened to in over 46 countries. So thank you for joining, and welcome to this podcast. Well, Andy, how are we doing overall today?
Pretty good. I can't complain.
Good.
The smoke is cleared for a while anyways, from the wildfires.
Yeah, some of the smoke in northern Minnesota is coming down into Minnesota again, Minnesota, Wisconsin here again. So we're starting to see a little bit of effect of this afternoon. It was looking a little gray out there earlier, so we may see a little bit more come through. But I know they had a little bit of rain up there in northern Minnesota earlier this week or later this week. So hopefully that's tamed it down a little bit. But I know they were still up there fighting it quite a bit. So, but it's interesting that it's dropped down all the way over to your side of the lake in Michigan there.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday were really bad. Like the air index quality, I think it hit. Some places hit like 600.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty bad.
What is a normal air index quality? I don't even know what a normal level.
I think at least on my, like the weather app on your phone, I think it wants to be like 50 or under.
Oh, really? So if it's sitting, that's a big deal. I mean, that's pretty bad. So yeah. It was a little rough on me on Thursday. I could just feel myself almost breathing it in, but there's a lot of danger around that, because I mean, there's a lot of smoke particles and ashes and things like that are floating in the air as well. And, for someone who may be pregnant or older adults, younger kids, that certainly could be, effect to their health, So
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a few people wearing masks here and there, and but sometimes I see that's a normal thing without even the air index quality being crappy. So people still love wearing them apparently for some reason. So, but
Yeah,
I never quite figured some of those out. But
the ones that get me are the ones that are alone in their own car or driving around wearing one.
yeah, that's always a good one too. I've seen that quite a few times, and like it just never quite figured it out for me. So anyway, it's been a good week for me. I worked around my little farm here this weekend. Got the weeds under control again in the garden and the orchard, and got those kind of taken care of. Got the yard mowed. I'll be traveling your way, starting. I'll be on a ship at 1:30 going across the SS Badger. So be there Wednesday morning sometime. Like I said, I'm not really sure what the plans are yet, but I think we can probably get down there either. I'll try Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. We'll see what the deal looks like. I'll know more. I'll probably know more on Tuesday. I'll try and have more of an answer for you by then. But if we could hook up and do something, that'd be awesome. So
Sound
at
good.
least we get to actually meet. Yes, Andy and I have not met yet. Other than we've chatted back and forth here and there, and talked over Zoom, a couple times. But of course, you joined on the very first podcast the last time. So, but yeah, other than that, I didn't really get to play any ham radio again. I've been trying to print. I would show somebody these, but these little PCB boards that doing a 3D print with them, and my machine. So I initially got these boards, and they were a little bit longer than what the ones that I got that was in the picture. And so anyway, I thought, you know what, let's print a couple of them. And I thought initially, I thought, they're going to be fine. I thought they'd be the same length. And I didn't pull out the caliper, which I usually do. Always keep a caliper here on my desk or near my toolbox. And I didn't really measure them. So I thought they'll just fit. So I printed 4 of them right off the bat. And of course, that was a mistake. I should have only print 1 until I know exactly what's going to fit or not. And then, I'm able to, pre-print after that. So I printed 2 of them since then. One of them completely went to a big glob, and the other one was a little short still. So I've had to go back, and I now decided to print with a PLA instead of a ABS. So we'll see how that goes this time. So it's a little bit of a lighter blue than I wanted, but I was doing red, and I thought it'd be cool, really cool with the power pole being red and the USB-C thing and everything, but it'd be easy to find in a bag, that sort of thing. But I guess my colors are kind of blue and gray, so I've got some gray out there. I may print a couple of these in gray too. So we'll see. I haven't pulled that out of the box yet, but I've got some from American Filament, which is out of Huntsville. You can buy it through Gigaparts as well, and it's pretty good stuff actually. I don't mind using that for my filament for 3D printing, but we'll at least get one of them printed, and we'll try, and I might take a couple power poles with me, but I don't know. I probably won't. I probably won't get these done this weekend. I was really hoping to get them printed, at least get one made, but the fact that I don't have my soldering iron, I don't really want to take it with me, and I won't have time to mess with it this week at all. So I've got another little device I'm going to be trying to update, which I think I already put in my bag. So, but we'll be talking about its new counterpart in just a minute here. So yeah, not really much on the ham radio side. Like I said, just outside projects, getting some things done, doing a little cleaning around the shed here. So that's been kind of my week in general. And of course, I had to be at work.
So you have not been playing with 6 meters lately?
No, has it been wide open?
It's been pretty open last couple of days.
I need to find something in the app that notifies me of that. I'd love to, because
I guess maybe I should just text you.
Yeah, next time if you see that, just text me, because I know there's some things out there that can notify you when the bands are open, but I've just not done it. So I've not really downloaded anything like that or looked at it. I guess I need to find out what type of app or notify me of that, because that'd be really cool.
I mean, lately FT8's been open, but that's pretty easy to get FT8 contacts. But I actually got 4 sideband contacts today.
Oh wow, on 6 meters.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I've got 6 meters in the truck too, so I can maybe play with that a little bit. Maybe when I'm running over to the cities yet this evening, and it's gonna be a little later, but it is what it is. But maybe I'll be able to play that in the truck a little bit and see what happens. So if nothing else, I'll come back and hook up to my Flex remotely and try and do it through my antenna because I've got the hex beam that does 6 through 20. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's later. It's more of an early morning daytime thing, isn't it? Not so much evening.
Man, the last couple of days it seems like it's been all day.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take.
Like I still see signals on FT8, but obviously I don't have sideband going on. But the DX maps look pretty red still.
Oh wow, that's good. Well, I want to move into our next segment here, the news. But we're actually this is going to be changing a little bit. We're going to call this Ham Radio Today, and for all the listeners out there, this is going to be more of kind of more of current events and what's happening, new equipment, things like that, and get away from. We may have some news stories occasionally still in there, but really looking at always new gadgets and new things that come out. So that's what we're going to kind of make this. I'm looking for some music or something. Like I may even do some AI music with it. I'm not really sure yet, but for something Ham Radio Today, I was trying to play with it the other day. I didn't get to finish, come back to it and look at it. So I don't really have anything prepped, but for now, we're just going to go with the news and make that one work. So we'll come back to you in a second. All right. So there is some cool things going on in ham radio right now. And one of those being the Mac WinLink beta 24 has been released. And it's as close to the Windows setup as I can find. I've played with this some. I haven't had a lot of luck with it yet. Some people have got it to work, but I'm still working with Vera HF trying to get the audio adjustments corrected. And that's the thing about Vera. It's very finicky when it comes to some of those things and trying to figure that out. So it's a little more challenging, but I'm really excited to be able to do it. And I'm hoping I can set this up on one of my laptops and see if they'll be a little easier and not having so many different audio devices playing through my Mac. But having Mac on the having WinLink on Mac now, with Vera HF and everything, super cool stuff. So I'm super excited about that. The other thing is, if you're watching this on YouTube, whatever, did that go live, Andy? Did you see that show up or no?
Yeah,
it did. Okay, cool. That's good. So you're
talking about on the YouTube channel? It's not live, no.
Not,
but
okay.
I see. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the other thing is for news events here is Remote TX. Now, this is maybe something that is new. However, it's something new I discovered. And this is ham radio remote control from anywhere. You can do your, 7100s, your 7300s, your 7610, your 705, and Yaesu 991A, your Elecraft radios, K2s, K3s, Yaesu rotors. They all have a remote TX capability in this program. And basically what you're doing is just downloading this program to a Raspberry appliance and, downloading the free software and connecting it up to your station via USB and internet to the Raspberry Pi. And then your client can be a laptop, a tablet, a phone, whatever you want to do, and make this work. And you're just basically going out to a browser and controlling everything from there. And yes, there's a subscription cost available with it, but I still think it's cheaper than having to do, because obviously you're going to a cloud, you're going to web-based. It's got some cloud storage there. It's got to happen. But I mean, how cool is that to be able to set up your different radios and control them remotely from wherever you want? And do that. I think that's just really cool. And again, you can do it with Apple iPhones, Android phones, Windows 7 with Chrome, Firefox, or Edge browser. So that's pretty good. Apple Mac with Chrome or Safari, Chrome OS, even Chrome OS will run this program. So really cool stuff there. And, you don't have to have a dedicated PC or anything at the station, which is cool. It doesn't take a lot of bandwidth to do it. So low internet bandwidth, which is really cool. You can radio power control your radio from this. So, definitely do CW and works with FTA digital modes. And so this is kind of what the screen looks like if you're watching again on your, you might be able to see this on Apple Podcasts as well, but really cool stuff. Again, I don't know what the pricing on this is. Let's see if I can pull it up and look at that. You get a 30-day free trial. And I forgot about this. It's $70 for the year. So you don't want to pay for the price of a Flex radio, but yet you can have a remote TX service set up for your radio and your antennas and be able to make this work. So I think that's kind of worth it. I don't know how the antenna rotor works on this exactly, but what do you think about this, Andy?
I think it'd be worth getting into, especially if you travel a lot and still want to operate from home.
Yeah. I mean, for somebody,
I'd get something like that. That'd be a lot cheaper. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier to get into.
Yes, absolutely. What type of radio do you got at home?
I have an FTDX10 991A, 891 in the truck.
See, it doesn't say the DX10 is available. It says the 991A is available, but it doesn't say the DX10 is available. It's got a lot of the ICOMs, but I wonder if he's working on more radios, because you'd think you'd want to have the Yaesu FTDX10. Now, that's a huge radio. A lot of people are out there, or the 710 maybe even.
Yeah, the 710. A lot of people got that.
A lot of people have that one. So it's like you'd think you'd really want to have that as part of those other radios that would be supported. So, maybe they're coming. I don't know, but I think he's got a lot of different resources, hardware here. I mean, some things you can, shows you some demos. You can do so. Go check out remotetx.net, and you get to see a little bit of information there. So one of the things with using a program like this is you get to go control it with a VFO knob, which is by CTR MIDI. You'll see different ones like this. In fact, this is the one that I have currently. But Lynn from Linnovation here has created a whole brand new, moving into our little next news piece here, a whole brand new CTR Max device. And again, if you're watching this, you'll be able to see this. And this thing is, a quad CTR2 firmware. Runs on ESP32 S3 microcontroller, just like the quad and its predecessors, but now it supports up to, both MIDI and Flex Wi-Fi. So just super cool USB, Bluetooth, MIDI controller, Wi-Fi enabled Flex radio controller, connects directly over the server in the Flex radio. Flex Wi-Fi mode works with any version of Smart SDR, Windows, Apple, or new Linux variants, even as a small pan adapter, so you don't have to run a Smart SDR. So I have this previous one here, and you basically connect this up to your, sorry, I was trying to kill a fly. It's been down and all over my screen, and just like it gets on me. And it's like, I don't want to like sit there and look like I'm hitting myself and tap myself. But you plug this into your phone and you can literally control, because on the Flex radio remotely, it's not easy to change your frequency, but you can use this little dial and do it with that, and it works out really well. So I can imagine with this software on this remote TX, you use the same type of dial and you can rotate your frequency pretty easy with that little dial. So with this one, you can do you can do your keyers, you can do your frequencies, you can change your band settings, you can change your bands with just by tapping a knob or maybe rotating the dial maybe. So there's a lot of more different features that he's adding onto this. And, for settings and stuff that you can go in and set particularly just for yourself. So, I mean, this thing is cool. And I know some other people that are using stuff similar to this. And I have a Flex controller here on my desk. I don't know if I can bring it up high enough to see it. There it is. This is the Flex control knob I have. But I've got the other controller, but I just stuck it away in my backpack because I'm taking it with me to update the firmware on it in the next day or so here. So anyway, but you can see that, all the different things you can adjust, your volume and your RF power and your speed and the mic gains and, your noise balance levels and wide noise balance, wide noise blanker. not balance, your VFO, your bands, CWs, all these different things you can change on these things. And it's just super cool. So really neat stuff. And, I'm super excited about this type of stuff. So, what do you think?
What about like switching antennas? Those people that have like more than one antenna. So would it be able to control an antenna switch?
Let's see if it has that type of capability in here or not.
I mean, I don't have that problem, but not yet, anyways.
I'm not seeing anything off the top that just anything that says about antennas on here, but it's very possible. I mean, it says it can power using a 103 450 LiPo 2000 milliamp battery. You can power the unit for over 9 hours. So that's pretty good. I can't complain about that. And there might be something you'd be able to set for that. I'm not sure. That's a good question though. But it works with some smart SDR, Ether. I think it's called Ether SDR. RIM SDR is for Linux. Ether works on Macs and I think it's Windows and Linux. And then RIM SDR is just for Linux for like controlling flex radios and stuff. So, but yeah, it's a really cool thing. And like I say, he's got a lot of different devices out there. For $150, I think I paid about somebody for that other knob. So, this is pretty good. So he's hoping to get into like a legal Power Shack limit environment to see how much RF it's putting off or has any interference with RF. So I think if he's already got his testers for all that for doing beta. But if you're interested more in this, go check out the CTR2 Max on Linovation webpage. It's not up on actually his webpage yet. You have to go to the group's IO page to find it, but it is there. So, like I said, super cool stuff. And again, you can change that you change frequency and do all these other little things with it. And it just, it's certainly worth it. So yeah, good stuff overall. So I'm super excited. I'll probably end up getting me one of those, potentially. I mean, I've got the Flex Control, which is fine. I don't use it a whole lot, but for mobile operating, that might be really slick to have because I love using the iPad and the phone, and just sit there and spin the dial and check things out. And you can set up I think you can split the port, and so you can do one for PTT and one for the control dial. So, but yeah, especially with the Halley key, I think you can do that as well. But a lot of people do some really cool stuff with these things. I mean, there just continues to be new innovation out there. Like I think RIM SDR just came out with a new update for flex radios. Ether SDR just came out with an update as well. And these programs are just super cool what they're doing. And, it's just the innovation that continues to come around amateur radio is incredible, I think. And all the things that people are doing and coming up with things nowadays. You familiar with any other new programs you're familiar with, Andy?
I don't know how new of anything I have. I heard of one that was man, what was it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was kind of like a Wi-Fi, whatever they called it. But it was, instead of being the like 2 gigahertz band, it was in the 900 megahertz.
Oh, really?
So it's supposed to help go through buildings, so you have it more of a Wi-Fi farther away and still reach you.
Huh.
I forget what it's called though.
Yeah. Another program I've used a little bit, I've been playing with, I've been wanting to do a video on it, but it's called iDigi, and that's made for Mac as well. And that's actually pretty cool as well. But I think they just came out with an update for that one. And I have not, I probably need to go back and actually buy it because it looks like it's on a trial basis now. I kind of quit playing with it for a while because I had a hard time getting the cat connection done, but I think I got that working finally, but it was still a little finicky in what it was doing. So I haven't played with iDigi for Mac, but it does like SSTV, SSTV, FT8 and a couple other things as well. So without having to use WSJTX. So it's not too bad. But again, it was a little finicky in some of the stuff, but it was like, I want to say like $11. So everybody knows I'm kind of a Mac user. I enjoy using all the Mac products, and anytime I can come up with new stuff, I'm always looking for. So I'm super excited about the first story, the Mac Win Link. That's going to be super cool to be able to continue to work with that and get that perfected. And again, it's still coming out in betas, but people are making it work. So I've got some audio settings with the Vera FM or Vera HF I have to do. So, with nothing else, I know we're already running into this. Oh my gosh, I've been rambling way too long today. It's 25 minutes into this already. It's just unbelievable. So, with that, let's go into the Ham Radio Guy joke of the week. It's now time for the Ham Radio Guy joke of the week, where Rick tells us the joke. The Ham Radio Guy joke of the week is brought to you by Ham Radio Prep. Now here is Rick Garrett, N9 GSU, with today's Ham Radio Guy joke of the week.
I'll admit, I miss the days when ham radio was a lot simpler, when we didn't have computers, when radios had real dials and there was no programming of them. Recently, I decided to try to make some satellite contacts, and try as I might, that part of ham radio is just over my head.
This has been the Ham Radio Guy joke of the week with Rick Garrett, N9 GSU. Turn in next week for another joke from Rick. Gotta love those dad jokes. I always love them. Well, let's get into...
Yeah, my favorite thing about a dad joke is the eye roll from the kids.
Right. No doubt. Well, Andy actually, I think, came up with this as a topic for this week more than I did, and we're talking about portable operations. So, Andy, I want to let you roll with this a little bit for a few minutes, and tell us a little bit about what is portable operations and your thoughts on it early on here.
You just want me to follow?
Sure.
Follow
yeah, let's just go through the list. Yeah.
Okay, what is considered portable ops? Why has portable operations been so popular over the last few years? And we got a bunch of different operating styles for portable. Probably the most popular ones: Parks on the Air. You got Summits on the Air. WWF. I don't remember what that's for.
Worldwide Flora Fonda.
But yeah, I see it a lot on FT8. People saying that. That was like one of the original ones, right?
It was. It's older than yes. So there's a little bit more elements to that, to what you have to do, I think, if I remember correctly. And it's like, I have no interest in doing it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah.
And of course, you got Field Day, everyone's favorite. County Hunters. That'd be more of like a like your grid hunters.
Yeah, or a lot of people do a lot of county hunters, like through state QSO content.
Or QSO parties, yeah. Operating on vacation. That's always fun. The best part of camping, if you ask me. I don't care for leaving my house in the country and being shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of strangers. Yeah. So bringing the radio is fun.
Absolutely.
Simple backyard and local park operation. Anytime I go to my buddy's house, he's like an hour 15 south of me. I always take my stuff and just antenna up in his yard or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Or just sitting around watching the kids.
Let's get back to the first question. What is considered portable ops? So anytime you get out of your ham shack or, you're stepping outside of your normal situation of what you might consider your residence, your basement, your garage, you're really getting away from your normal ham shack, you're taking a radio out into the field. You're going to any of those places of the different operating styles that Andy listed for, POTA or Worldwide Flora Fonda, if you're doing, vacation operating, wherever it might be. And you're setting up a portable radio, portable antenna, and you're trying to make contacts out there, and that's really the portable operations, and running off a battery, kind of testing your skills, any of the field days, winter, summer, and that's something that it takes a little bit to do. You can't just say, all right, I'm taking a radio and a battery out today and doing it. We're going to have to set up some checklists and see some other things. And we're going to get into that in just a few minutes here. But, Andy, what do you think the portable operations have become so popular over the last few years? What do you think's really driven this? Is it just POTA, or people, I have some other things too, but I want to hear your opinion first.
Well, it's probably more POTA, because when I got my license 4 years ago, I didn't really know anything about it right off the bat until maybe that winter. 'Cause I got licensed in August.
Oh, sure.
So maybe that winter, all these people on local repeaters talking about POTA this, POTA that, and I'm just like, what is this POTA? Sounds like fun. What do I got to do?
Right.
So and then of course I had to get my general first, and then I was looking at what type of antenna to get, because I heard about state parks and stuff. Some places don't let you put stakes in the ground or put nails in a tree, or some places don't even like you throwing an antenna up a tree.
Right.
So I got a vertical and a tripod, and another piece of coax for that, and a 15 amp hour battery, and I went to do my first POTA probably that spring or the next spring.
Right.
And now that was before I even learned about the POTA app page, really, about like spotting yourself and stuff. And once you spot yourself, people just got to give it a couple minutes, and they find you, and they come calling.
They do. But what do you think has become so portable? So why do you think portable operations really become so popular over the last few years? Besides POTA, it certainly had a great influence on it. But I think a lot of it is, even hams who live in the cities, they live in HOA, homeowners associations, that, they're limited by sometimes having an antenna, setting up something, as a ham shack, sure, they can run something along their gutter, along their peak, or up in their attic, and they certainly get by with it. But I think, a lot of people have that limitation. And so rather than setting something up in the house or drilling a hole in the side of the house, or trying to, get something, past an HOA somehow, that they will decide to just go out and do portable operations. You'll find that, quite often, Tim, Grayman POTA, I'm going to get this wrong. NW9F, I think is what it is. He operates, I'd probably say 90% portable most of the time. I mean, you catch him on Sunday mornings on his.
Yeah, he was out today.
Yeah. And, he does a lot of mobile operations, a lot of portable operations. And, I think you'll catch KMRD. He does a lot of portable operations. You'll see those. KB9 VBR does a portable operations. And so, I'm sure they do some from the home too, but, a lot of the majority of the stuff they do is outside because of some limitations that they have. And I think, one of our next points here is why go portable. And that's really just getting out of the shack, getting outside your house, getting out and doing something. It certainly gives you an opportunity to, enjoy some nature and just have some peaceful time. If everything is going smooth and well in your shack, I encourage you to go out and try and operate a portable setup. And again, we're going to provide you some tips here that will hopefully help you leave your home and doing a portable operation setup that won't leave you hanging when you get out there. So, some of the things that we'll try and make some notes on this somehow. In fact, I'll put a link in the show notes that, you'll be able to click into a link onto a published page, and you'll be able to pull all these things down for some of the tools for a checklist that will work for you. So I will put that together, and I will leave that in the show notes field summary. So, but again, I think there's a challenge to going out and setting up and and catching different environments, whether you're at the beach and having really good luck with salt water, or if you're in the woods somewhere, in some park, or if you're, having to deal with extreme heat, the extreme cold. And there's a lot to be said for that. So, it becomes another type of operation that a lot of people have fun with. And, something we look at from the winter field day standpoint is operating under portable conditions. It gives you a way to test your emergency communication skills as well. And, what if you need to set up immediately and make emergency phone call or emergency radio call? This might be you're out somewhere and, you get stuck and you need to have help. You can set up your radio and your stuff and you can, make that call. This could be anywhere from a flood, and maybe you got out into an area of dirt and mud. You can't get out. This may be a weather related situation with storms. It may just be something you're assisting your community with. And so, there's lots of different ways that or reasons you can go portable. And whether you're doing QRP or doing 100 watts, I don't know a lot of people that go over that. I've never done it myself over that, but it's a really great way to do it. And when you're out portable, a lot of people come up to you and talk about, have you ever had this happen, Andy, where you're out in a park somewhere and comes up and says, "Oh, you're trying to contact the aliens or something?"
Well, my first antenna I put up at my house, my neighbor asked if I was talking to aliens. But at a park, it's usually, oh, what is that thing? People driving by, then open a window. What is that? Oh, it's a ham radio antenna. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And well, that's cool. And then they drive away. They don't really stick around too long, but
Yeah,
that's usually at like the game areas or something.
Very similar to what we talked about in the last episode with HTs, is that it draws attention to you, whether you mean for it to or not. But people see the HT and go, "Oh, what's that?" Or "That's kind of cool." So it gives you a new way to introduce amateur radio to friends and family. I know I had some family a couple of years ago that I did. They did the Santa Claus on 3.980 at Christmas time, and so I sent my information in for the nieces and nephews, and I had them get on the air and talk to Santa. And so they kind of got introduced to amateur radio a little bit. And so, that's a cool way to do it. And it gives you just a way to meet new people, whether you're going to Hamfest or you're just out in the, we're talking about portable operations here, and, new people come up. In fact, we were operating up in Alaska here a little over a month ago. And we came up, somebody came up to us and said, "Oh, I'm, so-and-so call sign." And it's like, cool. So they knew exactly what we were doing. They were another amateur radio operator, and they were just out in the park, just roaming around, doing whatever for the fun, maybe with their wife, having a little lunch or something. And, so we got to come up and meet somebody new, which was really cool. So,
I did do that to someone once myself.
Yeah.
It was at Cadillac the Hamfest.
Oh, really?
And I went to operate the park down a couple miles away from the school where the Hamfest was. I saw a van sitting over there. There was someone sitting in the van. I was like, "That's weird. They're just sitting there." And then I didn't notice it until they got out and started taking the antenna down because it was too far away to see it.
No.
So then I walked over there. I was like, "Oh, good day for POTA, huh?" They're like, "Yeah." I think they seemed shocked that I knew what they were doing.
Yeah. And then my final point on this was, it really gives you an opportunity. And this is where I go with this. I like this a lot. Excuse me. Ugh. I don't know why that hit me all of a sudden. Well, I don't know why I say I've been wanting to yawn for a couple times, and I don't know why. I'm not tired. I feel good, but all of a sudden it just hit me. It's just that part of the day, I guess. But back to my point was, an opportunity. This is where I really love doing amateur radio portable operations. And this is finding those rare locations. Mount Rainier. I did not get to operate in Denali National Park, but we did operate in, Alaska this year. I did do up in, I did Ketchikan last year, and oh my gosh, the capital of Alaska this year. I don't remember, forget the name of it off the top of my head. I've done Acadia National Park. Next year is my goal is Yellowstone National Park. And I've been into another thing down in Tennessee, some pass down there. So I've had some other cool locations that I get to go activate and try. The Redwood National Forest, that was very challenging. I didn't make a successful contacts there, but I went to the California beach just north and got to operate California still. But the Redwood Forest, the trees were so tall that it's just like I have to almost get a drone and find a way to get out and above them to be able to get out because it was just so dense. It was tough getting any type of context. I made a few, but it's just not enough to make my 10. So I didn't really get to operate the Redwood Forest.
I did Mammoth Caves a couple of years ago.
I shouldn't. Where's that at? I should know that.
Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Did you operate there then?
Yeah.
That's cool. See, I'd like
we camped at RV park. I think it was like 15 minutes away from the caves. Like we didn't camp there, but yeah, so it's something you want to make sure you got everything figured out so you don't have to look it up when you get there because I had no signal.
Yeah. That's a perfect segue into our next point is really planning before you leave home. And whether you're, pulling up your AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile map, whatever you might have, you might want to be checking your cell phone coverage if you're there, because you don't know whether you're going to have cell phone coverage or not. So you may not be able to go online or get internet out and do POTA. So you may want to look at another way to be able to get your RF spot out if you can do, if you can get out and you don't have any cell phone coverage. Things to look at is your parking availability, some of your trail conditions. Sometimes the parks are closed early spring, and maybe they close them during the winter. Kind of get some of my other points, seasonal closures. So there may be some flooding or something that some recent storms have gone through, and they may shut those parks or those roads down into that park because of again trail conditions or weather. Things that may have caused some of that to happen. So, and then really looking at your sunset and sunrise times as well. If the park is closing at 4:35, 7:00, 9:00 at night, and you're starting, sunsets or depending on what time that may be, you don't want to be stuck behind the gate and not be able to get out of the park because they locked it. And then, or they're sitting there waiting on you when you get back going, hey, the park closed a half hour ago. We've been looking for you, not knowing where you were. So, things to think about, again, research your location, everything you can find out about it. Go out to POTA.app or parksontheair.com, and you can start to look for which POTA site you want to go to, which park, a state park, national park, what, wildlife management area that might be near you, and find out what that park number is, find out the park name, look at latitude, longitude, maybe pull up a map of the park. You can do a lot of things. There's a lot of links to the different state parks on every POTA site that you come up. Most of them have them, not all of them, but most of them have them. How much research do you do, Andy, when you go looking for new parks that you want to go to or you want to get into and you want to go try?
I use Onyx sometimes because if it's a hunting property, like a game area,
Oh, sure.
then the boundaries will be cut and dry on the app. You can see exactly where those boundaries are at, and that also helps too if you got like overlaps, like a trail cutting through a game area. So you got a 2-in-1.
Yeah,
Stuff like
I
that.
never thought about using Onyx as a good one. That's a great idea. Do you go out and look at the state map or the park map at all?
Not really. I usually get a pretty good idea of, between the POTA map on their website and then the Onyx is a pretty good idea.
Sure.
And sometimes I'll use like a satellite view from like Google Maps or something to see where the parking's at.
Yeah, I mean that's quite often. There's been some parks or more rural wildlife management areas to go to, and it's like, my gosh, Oh, I have to mute my mic on that one next time. It's you have to go do some research sometimes on some of these. I mean, I've looked at them, and it's like I have no place idea where I'm parking. I don't know what road this is going down. It looks like some gravel road. Google Maps isn't sharing a whole lot, and so I've had to go back and research some of these locations and look at it. So it's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, I have one by me that I I think I even emailed someone and asked that because on the website you see all the activators in the past, and I think I emailed somebody just to confirm because it was a um it was like public hunting access. But if you went by it on the street, it's like if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss it
Yeah.
because it was like one of those things where the public land is behind the private land, so you have like a little tiny 2-track for public access, and it's right next to this dude's like driveway.
Oh, wow.
So if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss the public access.
Yeah, you would never even know it. Absolutely. And then all of a sudden, your next thing you know, you're out there trespassing, and somebody's got a gun on you.
Yeah.
Like, get off my property.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because there's no sign on the public easement saying what it is.
Yeah.
There's no sign until you get all the way back in there.
Yeah, I'm sure. So speaking of that, kind of brings us to the next point. Another great segue is park requirements. You have daily entrance fees. You may have a state, annual, or national park pass, parking permits, operating restrictions. There may be special events for the park is closed for some reason. And so, understanding what those requirements are and any fees associated with them. A lot of the states have, they pay for their state parks and you can get in absolutely free. Sometimes it might be, hey, residents only get in free. It might be where, out of state they have to pay to get in. It may be, I don't care if you're a resident or non-resident, like Massachusetts, you're going to pay either way to get in, but it's $8 versus $30 to get in. I know there's a park in Massachusetts that was that way. And, it's just like, okay, you're going to pay to go to that park. It's just, if I'm going to pay, it is what it is. But a lot of parks in some states will stay open all year. And I know that's like here in Wisconsin. I don't know what Michigan does, but Massachusetts closed over half of their parks during the year. So what does Michigan do for state parks? Do some of them close, some stay open?
Yeah, I want to say, well, half and half, I guess.
Okay.
It's like the ones like the camping area will close because they're not,
They don't.
frozen water or whatever. But you can still get in like the main public parking lot area.
Sure.
You won't have any bathrooms or nothing, but you can still get in the parking lot most of those.
Yeah.
And then they just won't be manned either.
Right. Yeah.
So if you don't have a rec pass on your car, that's when you get in for free.
Yeah. That's it's definitely, and it does cost to operate the programs. And in fact, this weekend was Support Your Parks weekend. Now we're talking about portable operations. A little late coming to the recording on this one, but for getting out and this evening, by the time this is released, it'll be pretty much over. But this was Support Your Parks weekend. I was hoping to get out for it myself, but just end up with too many projects yesterday, and it's been pretty hot weather here as well. It was very warm. So, but the other thing I think final we need to talk about before we move into break is knowing the rules of the program and verifying those park reference numbers. Is the park still active? Is the is it still a good park? Knowing what your activation requirements are as well is always good to know, and have that information for yourself as well. So it's good to have that in place and be able to make that happen. So anything else, Andy? Are you going to talk about SOTA a little bit? And you ever done a SOTA?
I have not. I do have one by my stepdad's, but it's one of those things where I gotta do more research because you go by there and it just looks like someone's private property, like a
Sure.
grape orchard. And so I'm just like, okay, where am I supposed to operate the side of the road? Because like that dude, it's someone's house. So I don't know. And but then I was like, okay, I can just pull over on the side of the road and activate. But then I heard someone else say, oh, you can't do it from inside your car for SOTA. So I got to look at those rules to see, well, what do I got to do to consider it, you know, within the rules, I guess.
Sure.
But it sounds like it's got to be done on the side of that dirt road by that property.
Oh,
There's no other place I can find to do it.
yeah. I've never done a SOTA. I've talked about maybe working with one of the other guys down in Austin, Minnesota to do that, but that was just a recent conversation we were having, but I haven't tried it yet. So anyway.
And go back to like POTA parks and SOTAs and whatever else there, you don't have cell phone signal. I found out the hard way. You gotta do FTA if that's what you want to do. That's fine, but you gotta make sure you have your laptop on somewhere where you have signal so you can time sync your laptop before you get out there, or it's not going to decode.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I know they make some portable GPS units as well that you could use, but it is probably good to have your laptop time synced for sure. No doubt about that. That makes sense. So, well, with that, let's get into a quick commercial break here, and don't go anywhere. We've got more to talk about on portable operations right after this word from ABR Industries.
Looking for top quality cables that you can trust? ABR Industries has you covered. Proudly American built and reliable, ABR Industries delivers premium coax cable and connectors for all your communication needs. Whether you're a ham radio operator, work in broadcast, or manage critical infrastructure, ABR ensures that you are connected when it matters most.
And it has such tremendously different characteristics.
From static to clarity, ABR products. Built tough, built here, built for you. ABR Industries. American built and reliable. Visit abrind.com today and experience the strength of superior connectivity. It's the only coax here in the W0MET Ham Shack. Use code SAVE10 Ham Radio Guy. ABR Industries, where reliability meets performance. Very cool. Yeah, ABR Industries. I love them. They're great products. Just ordered a bunch of cable from them for for a rotor controller just recently. So it's pretty good stuff. So really like them a lot, and they're good products. So Shannon and Chuck down there, the whole team, they're a good group, and I think you'll really like them a lot. So if you have any questions, you don't know what cable you want to use, they've got definitely some calculators and things like that you can use nowadays, and they're really good to use. So we appreciate that. Well, I guess I want to say welcome back to the Ham Radio Guy. I'm excited to have you listening. Before we continue discussion, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. You guys make this podcast possible. Be sure to follow us over on social media for the latest updates, exclusive content, peek behind the scenes, and follow me on YouTube. It's been really great, and we've really enjoyed it, tremendously. We're over 800 subscribers now, still on our way to 1,000, and we certainly appreciate it. So let's get into our next segment here, building a portable checklist. Andy, you ever do this?
No, but I need to, because you don't. Every once in a while, you go somewhere and you forget something, and it just makes you mad.
We were just talking about this on Ham Shack TV last Thursday, and there's been several times I've gone out and forgot a microphone or forgot a battery or done something, or coax. Maybe coax wasn't working. I didn't have a spare coax with me. A connector was loose or something. It's like, well, this whole thing's just shot. It's like, there's nothing worse than driving an hour, 2 hours, and then realizing you've forgotten your equipment. And so you want to take us through some of the, radio equipment, things to consider, things you may want to put in your checklist, and see things to, look at. And even maybe if you want to look at some of the antennas or tools, you want to go through that list? Maybe
Yeah, sure.
along
And
the line.
okay, you go. If you have summits or whatever, obviously you want to think about size. So smaller the better when it comes to that. But you want to make sure you got your radio. And I have these Apache cases from Harbor Freight to hold some of the stuff, so it kind of keeps it. They're padded, waterproof, so it helps. Don't forget your microphone, your paddle, your CW paddle, or straight key if that's what you're doing. Headphones, obviously. Sometimes you got a lot of wildlife noises, especially if it's windy. So headphones would help. Power station or your battery, solar panel, that sort of thing. Spare battery. Let's see. Make sure you have your power cables. I think I did an activation without the correct power cable. I had my battery, but I did not have the power cable with the power pole on it. USB cable for your FT8 comes in handy.
Speaking of power pole cables, I just recently had a connection myself that I was out working at my other place and didn't have those didn't have the right power cables or the power connectors to go to Anderson power poles from a USB-C. So I'm now in the middle of printing that. In fact, I may let you read through this and let me go see if that part is done. So maybe I'll show people what I'm kind of working on.
All right. We got programming cables. Obviously, notebook or tablet or something to log with. Extra pen. I think we got to the field without a pen before, but luckily I had a app on my phone to log. You want to remember your antenna or 2 or 3, your feed line, your counterpoise if you need one. I think my vertical actually doesn't need that. It's kind of nice. Guy lines. I have a tripod for my vertical, but yeah, sometimes it's a little too windy for that. So sandbags or something, at least. Stakes. Throw line if you're throwing an antenna up in a tree. With a throw weight, obviously. Antenna analyzer. That could come in handy if you have to adjust something and you don't have one of those radios that show you what your SWR is. That would be nice.
So here's this piece I'm working on.
Yeah, your thing printed?
Yeah, printed. I'm just trying to see if I can get it and fit in there. I'm not sure if that hole in the end of the USB-C is big enough. I may have to. Oh man, why is this thing still off? So I've been extending this out. So I'll show you what this is. So this is the device I've been printing. It's a little side. It's got like place for Anderson power poles on this end, USB-C on this side, and then here's my USB-C little board, and you got the 2 holes back here in the end. Oh, sorry. Let me go camera reverse. 2 holes back here in the end. You put 2 little wires, and then your power poles will connect to that right there. And you can adjust this voltage out for whether you want to do like 15, 20, etc. But what I'm seeing here is what I might have to do is see if I can get, I don't know, it's got to go just another. I thought I'd measure that out with my deal, but I'm still a little short. And I think if I get this thing to slide through here, it almost fit in there, but it's not quite wanting to fit. Right in that USB-C is not quite wanting to fit right up in there. And so I'm thinking I may have to just take and hone this out just a little bit with a knife, because I think this board would fit in there. Because I mean, I don't know if I can pull this up and hold it close enough or not to see it. It is just barely fitting in there. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's like less than a millimeter, off. And it's like, I extended this over 3 millimeters out. So I think the board though, I'll use my phone flashlight real quick. This might be, nope, it's going to be way too short even so, because I just checked. So on this board up here in the front, it's hitting that wall already. So I'm going to extend this a little bit longer yet. So I'll go back and reprint it one more time here before I leave tonight, because I really want this thing to fit and work. And then there's got this lid that goes on here, and that fits right on there as well. And it helps hold there's a lip on this side that helps hold the USB-C down. And then that holds that in place. And then it screws on with some M3 inserts into these holes back here. And you have those little M3 inserts that do that. So that's one of my USB-C to power pole adapters I'm making. And I'll probably make these available for people as well. So anyway, this is the cool thing I'm doing. But again, it's taking a little bit to get that printed and figured out. But we'll go back to the drawing board one more time. We'll print it again. So,
So what's the print time on something like
about
that?
20 minutes. So that goes pretty quick.
It's not too bad, but it's not like you want to keep wasting 20
I
minutes.
know, right? No doubt. So yeah, in fact, I'll probably go back, and while I'm doing that, I'll probably extend that out one more time just to be, just to see if I can do it. So I'm going to make it like, I was going to say 82. I might make it 83 millimeters long and see if that does it. So that's it's so frustrating that it's doing that. And I'm so close, but yet I'm so far away. You think you do 2 millimeters, you'd make a difference, but it's not enough to.
I'd be more worried about the USB-C slot, because
Well, that's what I'm trying to get in. That's what I'm trying to get, is that USB-C slot to work, and it's not quite thick.
Yeah, because the plastic, the wall is too thick.
It's not the wall too thick. No, I think that will fit in there once I get it.
So I'd be more worried about the plug being able to get pushed all the way in it.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will be. I just extended this thing out, and I can't get it to fit in there anymore than I am. So I think USB-C will get in there once I get to sit flush. So I don't know. We'll see. That's the trouble we're having. So I just set it back up and ran it again. So we'll see. I mean, it will take about 20 minutes to do it. So we'll find out. So anyway, I'm not sure how far you got on that, but these are the cool things I'm working on and the kind of cool things I'm doing, but it takes a little effort to make it happen. So would you make it through?
Yeah, up to tools.
All right. Some comfort items, I always try this time of year. I always carry a chair in the back of my truck. It's one of those things that I like having, like a lawn chair of some sort back there. And just never, different events you may go to, but quite often I'll just use the back of my truck as my tailgate, as my table to work on, because some of these tables you go to are pretty rough and rigid, and I don't like always putting my equipment out on them, or they're full of bird crap or something. And so I was like, I know a lot of people have the mats that they lay down and make those type of things happen, but that's not too bad. There's a 4-foot folding tables. Those work out really good. I've used them for field days quite often. You can buy those lifetime tables at like Sam's Club, Walmart, Home Depot. They fold in half. They're, make a nice big square. They're like only 4 foot long. So they're like 2 foot by 2 foot. When it's folded in half, it's pretty good. Any type of hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, bug spray, those normal things you're going to wear, rain gear, have it with you in your vehicle, have it available. Obviously in the winter, you want to make sure you have gloves, hats, and, those sort of things as well. So, a lot of good things you need to have with you, a good checklist to have, things to talk about, or things to have with you that, help protect you along the way. And I don't know if I really added in here, but along those same lines of kind of protecting you, and I don't see it otherwise, is really having like an IFAC kit of some sort, your individual first aid kit. And, whether you need something for a Band-Aid or bruise, a leg, if you were out in a SOTA and you're hiking and you slip or you fall and you need something, you need to try and recover yourself somehow. Having the IFAC kit with you is something really important to have. And I just keep one in my truck all the time anyway. I always have it with me. But you can have a tourniquet, whatever you need in there. It has a lot of variety of different things that you can have to, with those armbands you put around your arm and then you twist the little plastic piece and it helps tighten up if you need to, try and, keep yourself from losing a leg or an arm or an artery or something. But I always got a first aid kit in my truck all the time. Sometimes it's very basic. Sometimes things are a little old in there. They need to be updated and replaced. But having a first aid kit with you, I pretty much keep one 24/7. So I've got these little first aid kits. I found they're like little sport packs you can buy for $10-15, and they've got some basic things in there, and they really lightweight, fit in your truck quite easily. I've got one over on the counter right now, but I'm not going to go back after it. But those are really good things to keep with you. And any type of water, hydration. Quite often I'll carry like the Gatorade packets in my water bottle. I'll throw that in there and you shake it up and get a little flavoring or something with it. It's much better than just plain water sometimes. Any type of snacks you can think of, like jerky or, maybe some hard candy or something you might want to, if you can have, with you of some sort, any type of protein bars, a Cliff Bar, whatever it might be. So those things are always good to have with you as well. If you're going to be out all day, maybe you want to consider lunch. Maybe you get the the gas station cafe sandwich. Those portable ham sandwiches you get from the gas stations, or take a sandwich to go of some sort from their hot plate, and take it with you, and it stays halfway warm for the day. And if it's thermos, for cold weather, have your coffee or hot chocolate with you, whatever you want. But sometimes portable operations often take longer than might expect. I've gone out for a day operation, and thought I'm going to go out for an hour or two and go operate. And I was like, we are out in Alaska, and look at this, Andy. So we were out in Alaska, and we were out there for about 3 hours trying to get 10 contacts because we're so far up there. It was really tough to get all those. So it took us a long time to get those 10 contacts. So we thought it was like, man, this is going to take forever. So, we got, lucky, but then we finally got them all, but it was challenging. It wasn't just, the pile up that, you get and have 90 contacts in the first hour and a half. We were struggling. So, but, something to think about, again, back to along those lines of, just, making sure it's always fun, making sure that, don't let the radio contact adventure for you become an emergency. That's one of those main points that I really don't want. I don't like to hear those stories where someone got hurt, injured, have to deal with those type of things. But if they do, they have a radio. Hopefully they can use it, and it doesn't hurt to carry a handheld with you too, because you may be able to say, hey, I'm on this frequency. They might be able to know someone you might have a search and rescuers or something that might be able to get on that frequency and help talk to you or something, if they need to, if it became that extreme. And again, those are probably extreme cases, but they do occasionally happen. I don't know any stories off the top of my head that I can recall, but it certainly happened. So, anything along those lines, Andy? Any thoughts?
I think a few years ago, I heard something about someone got a flat tire or broke down, ran out of gas or something like that, and up in the mountains somewhere East Coast, I think. And they finally got through on a repeater from a handheld.
Yeah.
And distance was a lot longer because they were up higher elevation wise, but still got out and got them help.
So it's good to carry that handheld with you too. So, but the things you need to think about as well is, tell someone where you're going. Maybe you have your wife or your kids or, girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend, let them know that, I expect me home by 8 p.m. And if they don't hear from you before 8, that's fine. But, I think after 8, they may want to, start looking. You may or may not have that cell phone coverage to be able to call them. Now, today things are getting better with, Apple and Android phones where they have the SOS and satellite operations, which helps. But the other thing that I don't do, and I don't know a lot of people do either, is download any offline maps. But probably good to have. Having an extra battery pack with you, it's a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. I mean, your battery on your phone, you may go out and it's like, hey, I've got 78% of battery. It's going to last me all day. I'm fine. But when that emergency happens and you're down to, because you have no cell signal for hours and your battery's down to 24%, trying to make a call out on a low battery or something may become challenging. You may not be able to get any more signals or any more text out when that battery dies if you don't have an extra cable and battery pack with you. So, something you may want to consider and think about, just having an extra battery with you of some sort, small, even those magnetic batteries that go on the back have like 5,000 milliamps. At least it'd recharge your phone once and put you back to 100% for a while. So
I think you can even buy those battery packs that have a solar panel on them.
Yeah, true. Very good point. Yeah, for sure. So, we've talked about this a little bit. Don't get caught after dark. Things to remember: park closing hours, gate lock times. Again, you don't want to be the person stuck behind the gate. A lot of parks will close at what they consider sunset. So that may be 8:15 one night and 8:12 the next night. Whatever. And those times will diminish as times we go into the fall here. Think about the time you need to hike back. So you're not walking back in the dark, tripping over logs or falling into a ditch or a rough trail of some sort. Do you carry a flashlight with you? Just in case, most people, I like to say, always have a flashlight with me. I always got one in my backpack wherever I go. So it's good to have. Those little O lights are small, compact, light, easy to recharge, work out really well. So, something we haven't really mentioned much and something to think about really too, getting caught after dark, but during the daylight, we recently heard the story about the buffalo, for people out taking photograph of the buffalo in Yellowstone National Park. And, the 5-year-old guy, whatever, got, bumped up in the air, 10, 15 feet by the buffalo. So, if you encounter a moose or a bear or something else, a deer, most of those will probably run, but, a bear or a moose may become more protective of their territory. So you want to be a little more careful, especially if you're going to be hiking up in the mountains area. You might have a ram or a goat of some sort that, could be a little crazy and want to charge after you. So things to think about with some wildlife as well. Those things can, you're in their territory. It's very unpredictable what they can do. They are wild life, not your pet animals. So, you want to think about those sort of things. So yeah, things can change very quickly. Whether you're, summer storms may roll in, which could be high lightning, high winds, heat, cold, snow, flash flooding. Texas obviously experienced a lot of flash flooding. You can look up the river one way and go, well, there's nothing, we're fine. Look the other way and you see a wall of water rolling down the river. So, down the dry creek. So, in Florida, that's, not Florida, but the Southwest, that could be very common through, it rained, up in the mountains, but it may not be raining where you're at, but the water's coming down from the mountains and coming right down to you. So, something you need to definitely be very careful of and plan for. So, so just be careful on your thoughts and what you're, where you're at and what you're doing, where your location is. Again, do the research on that location of where you want to go. That's, we started with that. And that's one of those things I think I would kind of bring it back to that point. It's very important to have that. I'm not going to harp too much more on, we've talked about batteries, whether you want a LiPo battery or a power station. He mentioned solar panel a minute ago. How much you are going to carry with you, but even if you don't carry out to your site with you, maybe it's just in your vehicle with you, maybe if you realize you're low on battery, you could do QRP versus 100 watts and, those sort of things. So, again, we've all been there, all had those issues, making sure you got the right cables and stuff like that. Whether it's microphone, coax, etc. Your charging cables, those are important things to have. So, Andy, you want to talk about operating courtesy?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, so when you are operating, remember to be friendly. I don't know if you can hear my kids are playing around.
I can a little bit. That's fine.
If people stop and ask you questions, answer the questions. You never know who future ham operator you're talking to when you're out there. Leave the area cleaner than what you found it. I've seen a couple times where there's some random pieces of trash probably falling out of people's cars that pick it up and throw it away later. Of course, that's the military and me. We've always done that.
Exactly.
Respect other visitors. Don't be invading other people's safe space or whatever you want to call it to operate. Just, there's probably plenty of room to just kind of tuck away in a corner somewhere if there's too much going on. Don't block the trails. There's got horse trails out there, people mountain biking, walking, hiking, you don't need to get in the way. Don't damage trees. A lot of state parks do not want nails or anything stuck in a tree just so you can hang your coax or anchor or something down. So most of the time they're okay with you tying stuff off like a paracord, but you gotta make sure you take that stuff with you. And if you have something on the ground, guy line or something, or a radial, get some of that high vis rope and tie it off so people don't trip over anything.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's always good to have. Or maybe
don't want no lawsuits.
Even high vis coax. A lot of people use that nowadays too.
Yeah,
that's really good to have. So, for sure. What program do you use for logging?
When I started doing POTA, it was hammers, and that was the big one.
Yeah, I think.
But now I do World Radio League now.
Absolutely, we like World Radio League. They're good. It's their offline capability. They're pretty good now, and so I can't complain about World Radio League. That's been my primary use of that, and I still have some logs I need to upload. Speaking of that, so I need to get that done. But
I have it synced up with QRZ now, so it just automatically all goes over.
Yeah. Tell you, this thing is just. I was trying to hose out that USB-C part just for a moment. It's like, I really think I can get that to fit in there. And it's so close, but it's like, just like a hair off. So I was just like, maybe can I shave this thing off of the USB-C to make it fit in there a little bit better? But
you need one of those little tiny files.
Yeah, I need a little file. I've got a little utility knife. I guess it can't really see it quite well, but I'm using a little knife to see if I can make that work. Just to see if I can prove I can get it on the air while it's still in the air here. But I thought maybe it'd shave a little bit off, but it's not going to be enough to do it. So, but yeah, a lot of people still like paper logs, and they use them quite often. I've done several logs and hammers before. A lot of people are using now the Ham 2K, and oh my gosh, Sebastian. He does a really good job with that program. It's really slick. I mean, you can find your POTA park. If you don't know what park you're at, whatever, you just go. As long as you have internet access, you go online, you find it, and you can, pull up your program and see everything right there. If you got more than one logger or with you or operator with you, you can log more than one and then do an export for both people. Me and you can operate together, and you get your log, I get my log, and it's, it all matches up. So it's really cool. And so that's pretty good. And again, I like using my tablet. The downside of that, I'll use a laptop as well, because I don't always get to have like your cat control programs and stuff when you use the tablet. So I'll use my MacBook here quite often.
I just got a tablet just for logging.
Oh, yeah. I like using
because I was logging on the laptop, but if I was to do FT8 on the laptop and try to log, sometimes certain frequencies would mess with the mouse pad.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like you had to wait until you were done transmitting to switch back over to hammers or whatever.
I did have something like that happen for a while. I forgot about that. Yeah. So, so it can be fun. It can be challenging. And again, it's just it can be a really good time. But if you go through and lose your log when you're all done with that, and you don't properly save it or something, there is nothing worse than that feeling. Where I think I've saved my log or done something and I know I've lost one before, or a partial log at least before. And that kind of takes the whole joy out of the whole day of being able to go out and do that. So try and save your file as an ADIF, however you do it, through whatever program you're doing. And make sure you have that file available before you just, I'm going to close my laptop, close my lid or something. And then all of a sudden you just, oops, don't have it. Why don't I have it? What happened to the program? I thought I saved it, So very, very important that you do that, because again, there's nothing more disappointment than that overall. So we're going to just a couple more things here before we do a final takeaway, but we've gone way over time. We're an hour and 20 minutes and this will be a long podcast, but Andy, just anything of any of your mistakes, your, equipment failures, you forgot something moment, anything like that, your best activation that you ever had, any of those ideas, anything you want to share?
Well, let's see. I said the one failure. I do know another failure I had was, and it wasn't even like I was just operating at my brother's hangar because he's got a little plane, but we're halfway back to home, me and my daughter, and I was like, oh crap, I left my tripod at the airport. So I had to turn around and get my tripod. So I was like, oh, that would come in handy.
Yeah, that could be it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had any failure with the exception of thinking I had more juice in my battery and it dying on me. But that was one of those, I think that was one of those multi-park rows. So I was like, sooner or later, it's going to die,
Yeah. I've definitely had, batteries where I thought I had a full charge or something left on me. I didn't remember whether I charged it last time or not. And maybe I hadn't. I thought I had not used it, but apparently I had. And, have those type of situations happen. Out of that list of things, kind of from lessons learned is have a checklist. That is number one for me, to make sure you have all your gear you need. Don't forget that's something important. Drive 2 hours and then forget you don't have something. That's one of those major disappointments or failures. That's not good. My best activations ever, had some down the Florida coast, down the beaches. I mean, just racking up contacts right and left. Being able to operate from Mount Rainier, Alaska, being able to operate from Acadia National Park up in Maine, just some of those major parks has been some of my best activations. While it may not be many contacts, I've felt like they're really good activations because of the remote location of where they're at. And that to me was important. And that's what I enjoyed doing, finding those far remote locations and, kind of like traveling Ham. He does along the same lines. He does, Grand Canyons and some great national parks. And I'm kind of along those same motives. I just don't have to go operate, my local park every day and go get, 10,000 contacts through that. I like doing those remote locations. A little more expensive trips to go on to be able to do it, but it is the fun. So that is one of those things that's my element of parks on the air, what I really enjoy doing. So I mean, I could just go out and probably do a park every day, but it's not the challenge for me. Even though I've had some challenges operating, POTA before, but I love going out and being able to get 90, 100 contacts really easy as well. But that's my best. So one of the questions
I say my best activation was probably Zoe's first one after she got general. So that was fun.
I'm sure I'm sure you remember that one for sure.
Oh yeah.
So we'd love to be able to hear in the comments from you. We want to be able to know what's the one thing you always pack. What's the one thing you've forgotten? Maybe your favorite portable antenna. We didn't even really get into antennas on this. It was just, talking more about other portable operations. And even though antenna is a very important part of this, you go verticals, dipoles. And I know Andy did mention a little bit about it, but, what's your favorite SOTA POTA location? Leave a comment in the field. We really enjoy listening to that. I want to be able to read it. So I certainly feel free to add that. I know this is the podcast, but, this will be over on the YouTube channel as well. And so, any other words before the final takeaway? Andy, thoughts?
Nope. I got nothing.
Okay. Well, good. Well, with that, we're going to leave you with some final words here. With portable operations, you don't have to be complicated. Start simple, build experience, learn from every activation. The more prepared you are, and before leaving home, the more enjoyable and safer your day will be. I think we've harped on that topic quite a bit through this episode. Just making sure you're staying safe, grabbing all your equipment, and being prepared, letting people know where you're at just in case of emergency, those sort of things. Knowing you got plenty of food, water, drink, whatever, and that makes your day. You've got a good logging program. That makes your day really enjoyable. So, with that, we'll go into a little quick music. I've got a couple things for some quick events coming up, and we'll go from there. So let's go to a little bumper here. All right. So the Huntsville Hamfest coming up August 22nd, 23rd. That's just around the corner. I will not be attending that. Andy, you going to head to Huntsville at all?
No.
Okay.
I wish, but
I wish
no.
I could too. I just don't have it in my budget this year and my time. I just got too many things going on, and I just can't get it done. There's just no way I can make it down there. So I made Dayton, made Hamcation. Those are the two big ones this year. I was hoping to really get down there this year, but with my work and scheduling, just can't happen. So churches and chapels on the air, September 13th. 18 clubs to activate Erie Canal for the Parks on the Air again, September. That was last year. So not sure why that one's off. I thought I had another active one, but that is showing on that last one was 25. So this must have got copied over from an old event page, but that's all I've got for now. So that's it for the Ham Radio Guy. Thanks for tuning in, being part of the conversation. Don't forget to share your thoughts, questions, stories. Email me or connect on Twitter or Patreon. If you enjoy the show, leave a review, share it with a fellow ham, and help grow the community. If you're enjoying the podcast, consider supporting us over on patreon.com/the Ham Radio Guy. And your support helps keep the show running, allows us to bring you even more great content. Till next time, 73, happy hamming. Keep the antennas high and the signal strong. And Andy and I will catch you on the next episode of the Ham Radio Guy podcast. So, Andy, final words?
Talk to you next time.
73.
73.